What if cutting carbs mattered less than how you cook them? What if blood sugar spikes weren't driven by what you eat, but by how your plate comes together? And did you know, habits you repeat every day, not restriction or willpower, the habits quietly decide your energy, cravings, and focus. In the next few minutes, you will see how simple plate building choices, how food is cooked, how they're combined and eaten, change the body's response to the same meal. This pattern shows up again and again across nutrition research, traditional cuisines, and real kitchens. In real kitchens, health isn't shaped by perfect meals or single nutrients. It's shaped by small cooking decisions repeated over time. I am Gina, and that's the lens behind Vital Cook, everyday culinary guidance designed to work in real life. For years now, blood sugar advice have been all about avoiding certain food groups. But now research and studies across population groups have shown us that the same rice and the same portions behave very differently in your body depending on how it was prepared, how it is cooked, and what else is on the plate. Across kitchen and nutrition research, the same pattern shows up. Blood sugar friendly eating depends on four repeatable patterns: how the plate is balanced, how the carbohydrates are prepared, what slows down digestion, and when the foods are eaten. Blood sugar stability starts with the plate balance. This structure helps slower digestion and regulate glucose release. A blood sugar friendly plate starts with structure. Across public health nutrition, the same plate structure keeps repeating. Half the plate vegetables, 1/4 protein, 1/4 carbohydrates. You will see this reflected in guidance from the NHS, the AHA, and Harvard. This isn't about restriction, it's about proportion. Vegetables add fiber and water. Protein slows stomach emptying. Together, they slow how quickly carbs turn into glucose. The most common mistake? Building the plate around carbs and then adding everything else on top. But balance alone doesn't explain why the same carb can act differently. Carbohydrates change their structure depending on the way you cook. Cooking and cooling changes their structure to form rest and starch, which helps release glucose steadily. When starches are cooked, cooled, and reheated, part of the starch changes into resistant starch. That means it resists digestion, acting more like fiber. Let's look inside the grain, inside the potato. When starchy foods cool, their molecules reorganize into resistant starch, a form your body digests slowly, or sometimes not at all. This simple shift from digestible starch to resistant starch can reduce the glycemic impact of rice, potatoes, pastas, and oats, meaning fewer spikes, fewer crashes, and far more steady energy release. Cook rice or potatoes or pastas ahead. Cool fully, then reheat gently. Same food, but slower glucose release. But preparation isn't the only brake on digestion. Digestion speed is shaped by what foods travel together. Fat, fiber, and protein slow how fast food leaves the stomach. Slower exit means slower glucose entry into the bloodstream. That's why one-pot meals consistently support steadier glucose levels. For the exact cooking steps that make the difference, watch the one-pot video on the channel. The link to the video is in the description box. The fiber in the vegetables creates resistance. This slows down the glucose absorption. Protein and fat slows everything down. They help delay the stomach emptying. Add fat intentionally, not accidentally. Oil, nuts, seeds, yogurt, add them as part of the meal, not as extras. And timing changes everything. The order you eat food matters. Order in which you eat your plate. Fibers and vegetables first, proteins and fat next, and then the carbs really helps smoothen the spike. You can watch my eating order video to understand the full science behind it. Fiber and protein eaten first, slow digestion of carbs eaten later. It's like setting speed bumps before glucose hits the bloodstream. Start with vegetables, then protein, and finish with carbs. The same plate will give you different response. Watch the eating order video on the channel to understand how this works in a mixed meal situation. I have added the link to the full video in the description box. But there's an even simpler swap most kitchens overlook. Here is where beans quietly change the entire equation. Beans still contain carbohydrates, but they don't behave like most carbs on your plate. Beans are the game changers. They not only replace carb, they digest slowly, improves insulin response, and increases fullness. Most refined starches break down quickly. Glucose floods in fast. Beans package their carbs differently. Their carbs are wrapped in fiber, mixed with plant protein, and locked inside intact cell walls. That slows down digestion, like squeezing full through a narrow pipe instead of dumping it all at once. This is why beans can replace part of the starch on your plate without removing carbs entirely. To unlock the full benefits of beans and lentils, watch the Pulses Cooking Best Practices video on the channel. They don't just affect carbs, they change how their entire plate behaves. And when you combine that with how foods are cooked, the effect multiplies. This is why plates built this way feel steadier, not stricter. Blood sugar stability doesn't come from one trick, it comes from a system. Balanced plates, preparation of carbohydrates, digestion slowing pairings, and smart sequencing. And carb choices that work with your body. The goal isn't to eat less, it's to eat slower on the inside. Try that system and see the difference in your sugar spikes. If you ever wondered why the same meal feels different on different days, that's the system at work. Tell me which part surprised you most and I will break it down next. Subscribe to Vital Cook for science-backed kitchen habits you can repeat every day for better health.